Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 695 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Pechersk District Court of Kyiv chose a preventive measure for the investment banker, founder of Concord Capital Company Igor Mazepa, in the form of detention with the alternative of bail in the amount of 349 million hryvnias, or $9.3 million, reports Ekonomichna Pravda. In this way, the court partially satisfied the request of the prosecutors who asked for 700 million bail. On 18th January, the State Bureau of Investigation detained Igor Mazepa, a Ukrainian businessman and the founder of the investment company Concord Capital, while crossing the Ukrainian-Polish border. He was planning to attend Davos World Economic Forum. Igor Mazepa was detained in the case of illegal privatization of land plots in the Kyiv region 11 years ago. He is listed as the customer of land acquisition in the case file. The prosecutor's office also asked for another 500 million hryvnia for his brother Yuri, but the court lowered it to 40 million. The case received a lot of coverage and discussion on social media as Igor Mazepa is a known businessman who hasn't had issues with the law before, but has always been vocal about the pressure of law enforcement agencies, tax and customs officials on businesses. CNN sources in international intelligence and military officials believe that combat action in Ukraine will go on for at least 2 more years. Furthermore, some believe that there will be no major victories on the battlefield in 2024, since both Ukraine and Russia will restore their military strengths, and that Ukraine can restart its counteroffensive in 2025, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Privately, some US and Western officials say there could be as many as 5 more years of fighting. A US military official currently stationed in Europe said another attempt at a massive counteroffensive by Ukraine will most likely be made in at least 2 years, with the aim of defeating the Russian forces in the occupied city of Melitopol. The military official believes both sides are too exhausted in terms of troops and equipment to see huge moves in 2024. He said Ukraine considers 2025 a more feasible option in terms of what they can generate to start another offensive. Russia is trying to regroup, which gives Ukraine some time, according to sources familiar with the assessments. However, one of the sources suggests that in the long term, the absence of US assistance could allow Moscow to regain momentum by increasing arms sales and taking advantage of support from Iran and North Korea. US officials are also considering the impact that a withdrawal of US support could have on other allies, sending a signal that Washington does not have the political will to support allies and partners in the long term. One US official said that Ukraine will spend this year working to strengthen its defense industrial base and rebuild its armed forces in anticipation of even more fighting in 2025. This is a strategy that Russia is likely to focus on as well. A Western intelligence source said that in the short term, Ukraine might be able to hold out without US support, albeit in a stalemate. But this would still be a significant loss not only for Ukraine but also for the US standing in the world. It will show Russia and other nations that they are able to take territory by force. At the same time, Financial Times agrees that the Ukrainian army is moving to active defense, but believes that the reason for that is that Russia may be preparing for a new major offensive this summer. A newly declassified US intelligence assessment reviewed by the Financial Times in December notes that Putin's ultimate goal in Ukraine of conquering the country and subjugating its people remains unchanged. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine's defense intelligence chief Kyrylo Budanov said that Ukraine will continue conducting operations in temporarily occupied Crimea in order to destroy Russian logistics, reports Fakty. According to Budanov, Ukraine's special forces repeatedly entered Crimea in 2023 and will continue conducting active operations there. He stated that it is vital to continue putting pressure on Russia, specifically in Crimea, to attack from the air, deploy marine attack drones, and conduct covert special operations. Budanov explained that one of the priorities of such missions is to destroy the logistics of the Russian occupying army in the temporarily occupied peninsula. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.